right now. Working on getting some times going. Trevor Hoekstra out there in that number 12 Twisted Automotive machine. Going to put down some of his quickest laps he can, going down to the green flag. .563 right now as he's on his warm-up lap. Comes around down the backstretch one more time to get it done. Checkered flag's in the hand of our flagman Ray. Comes rolling through turn number 4, sees the checkered flag. Can he do better? 17.5 might not be good enough. Gets that down to 17.1. Track right now, that number 20 car. If that car looks familiar, you might have seen that piloted by our very own Curdy Town. He's parted ways with that car. That is a hot-looking machine out there. Just joining us for the first time here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Checkered flag is out right now. Oh yeah, we have 2 number 20s, and without my race pass working, I can't tell you who took over that top spot. Green, that number 16. Coming around, takes the white flag. One more lap to show us how it's done. Swervy Ken Kirby joins the field in that 00 car. Dwayne Green coming around, sees the checkered flag in his hands, crosses the start and finish line. Looks like that's good enough to put him at the top of the leaderboard. 16.068 right now. As Ken Kirby takes the green flag, rolls that machine into turn number 1 and 2. Every 1/10 of a second counts. One slip can cost you 5 rows on that starting grid. If you don't leave a perfect lap down here, you might not even get into this A feature. With over 40 cars on the property, we're sending some of them to the B feature tonight. These guys will battle it out for $5,000 tonight in that A feature. For your Raber Street Stock Rumble, presented by Techwork Trailer Sales. Swervy Ken Kirby on the top of the leaderboard right now. That 00 sits in the 1 spot. Bowen out of Plymouth, Michigan out on the track right now, getting ready to come around for that checkered flag. That Deuce on top right now, 15.909 the time to beat. Comes around, sees the checkered flag. Not as good as his first one, but still good enough for that top spot. Danny Brown out there from Galloway, Ohio. White flag waves. He's going to have one more. Show us how it's done. Rolls it through turn number 1 and 2. Nice and smooth. Down onto the backstretch. Goes from high to low into turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag waves. We'll find out at the line where he's going to start right now. Number 4 car. 15.811. Good enough for that top spot as Chris Garrett rolls out onto the track right now. Repair Service number 32 machine. Few of those maroon bandits out onto the track right now. good of a time. Pressler out on the track, that number 31 car. Buchanan, Michigan, comes around, takes the white flag. He had some quick times in practice this afternoon. Pressler was fourth quick in practice with a 15.022. Comes around, sees the checkered flag. What's he gonna do? 15.422, good enough for the second spot right now. We still have a lot of street stocks left to qualify. We'll see how long he has. These guys are all leaving it out on the track as they all want that $5,000 payday. In the Raber Street Stock Rumble, this is one of the biggest street stock shows in all of the Midwest. Drivers from all over Michigan, all over the Midwest have made the trip up to Kalamazoo Speedway to take on the best of the best out here in the world's fastest 3/8 mile paved oval. Couldn't ask for better weather out here. It's a beautiful, gorgeous night to go racing. Division is all about power, handling, and wheel-to-wheel action. These cars are tough, and these drivers are tougher. Lots on the line tonight. $5,000 going home with the winner. Pulls it onto the pit side. Bradley Bullis out on the track right now. 15.698 was his quick time in practice. Looks to do a little better this time around. Sees that checkered flag. That number 59 will go to number 3. 15.384. Good enough for the number 3 spot right now. Track from Buchanan, Michigan, laid down a 15.5 in practice. Already beat that one up. That number 10 car goes all the way to the number 2 spot, 15.240. With most of the field left to still qualify, he can't get comfortable yet. He sits in the number 2 spot, rolling it out of turn number 4, sees the checkered flag. One more stretch to lay down a better lap. 15.193, still good enough for that number 2 spot. champion for 2025. Showing everybody out here why, indeed, he is the track champion here at Kalamazoo Speedway. 14.777 up on the board. That's the time to beat. Kyle Ribble says, show me what you got. Awesome competition out here tonight. You guys are in for a treat. We're glad you're here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Unfamiliar with how everything out here works right now, you are watching single car qualifying for our Techwork trailer sales Raber Street Stock Rumble right now. We give these cars a couple of laps to lay down their best, leave it all on the track. This will determine the starting order. This determines who goes for $5,000 and who joins the B feature. Tool out there, 15.605 right now. Not going to be good enough right now to be into that A feature. Comes around into turns number 3 and 4. Has to make up a lot of ground to get into that A feature. Here he comes, slides it sideways. Loose is fast. What's he do? 15.587. K2. Kenny Head the second out on the track right now. To 15.386 right now sits in the 29th quickest car. Still a lot of time left, a lot of cars left to qualify. He's got to do something big here in this last turn. Comes out, rolls down the front stretch, checkered flag is out. Kenny Head the second, graduates all the way up into the 19th spot, 15.249. As the number 21 car, Mike Gain, rolls out there. Number 21, Derek's Garage Doors, David Racecraft, and a DMG car. Slinging it down the backstretch. That number 21 car is doing great things out here today. Looked great in practice, looks great in qualifying. Entered the chat, the number 9 spot right now with a 15.063. Comes around for one more. Going to see the checkered flag as he exits turn number 4. See Bowen, good enough for right now, sits in the 9th spot. 15.041 his time. David Leonard Jr. out there on the track right now. And that number 27 hot rod comes around, gets ready to take the white flag. He's going to have one lap to leave it all out there, get into the A main. Everybody out here wants into that top 20 spot. They want their number at the top of that scoring pylon. Those are the guys that'll get to go and try everything for $5,000. David Leonard Jr. sneaks in. He is in the top 10. Good enough for a 6 spot at 15.004. Here comes the 70X car. This car has quite the pedigree. Finished runner-up in the Street Stock Points division out here. Wrapped up his season last week with a win, finished seconds in the points. This is Andrew Rutherford crossing right now, takes the checkered flag, and right Rutherford sits 0.136 seconds behind Kyle Ribble. Ribble still owns that top spot with a 14.7. Brandon Maynard Jr. right now sits 16th with a 15.169. He's got one more lap to best that. With all these street stocks left to qualify, I would not be comfortable sitting in the 16th spot right now. That's where he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to pray that these drivers have a little bit of trouble. He's going to need a little bit of luck to get into that A feature. Bozell, that number 11 car, takes the track. He had a little bit of rough luck out here last week. Got into some trouble on the front stretch, broke some front end pieces, ended up smashing it into the wall over in turn number 1. But Colin's got that thing rebuilt, ready to go in that DNS Auto Services car, and it looks better than ever. Colin Bozell comes around, rips it down into the backstretch. Going to see 1 to go this next time by. Bozell, 14.980 that time by. He's got one more chance to do a little better than that. Good enough for the 4th spot right now. 4th spot feels a little better than halfway back. We still have a lot of street stocks left to qualify. 14.949. Colin Bozell will find himself right now in the 4th spot. There in the number 66 car. 15.212, good enough for 15th. That is not a comfortable place to be. He looks to gain some speed as he charges down the backstretch into turns number 3 and 4. He'll see the checkered flag this time by. Has a lot of ground to make up before he can be comfortable. it up into 14th spot with still a lot of cars to qualify. He's going to be biting his nails in his pit stall. Jesse Van Avery Sr. out there in that purple deuce. Comes around, takes the white flag. Looks like he's good enough for 16th right now. Wants a little better than that. One more to go. Shows us how to do it here. All the way from Constantine, Michigan. We're happy to have these guys out here. Always a threat. These pair is dominant every track they go to. Checker flag comes out. 14.940. Good enough for the number 4 spot for Ganis. Pizza machine. Alex Sexton did an amazing job in the points battle this time last season. Wrapped up his season last week out here at Kalamazoo Speedway with a strong finish. Right now, that number 9 Sealy Auto Group Consumers Concrete car of Alex Sexton. Good enough for the number 14 spot, but that is not a comfortable place to be. He's got one more turn to do it. Sees the checkered flag right now. Alex Sexton. Good enough for 14. 15.106. Again out onto the track. The second Ganis making his way around that number 5 Whitman's Auto Sales car. White flags out and he advances up into the number 2 spot with a 14. 14.9 for Ganis. 2 more turns to get that top spot. Kyle Rilla right now, 14.77 their quick time. 14.925 will put Ganis comfortably in the number 2 spot. As your defending back-to-back champion, Ricky LeDuc in the number 99 Ritterman Oils car comes around. He's looking to make a three-peat out of this one. Ricky LeDuc, dominant every single track he shows up to. This is a wheel man right here. He can drive anything with wheels on it. Takes the white flag, comes around. One more to go for Ricky LeDuc to get on that leaderboard out there. LeDuc sees the checkered flag. Ricky LeDuc. A little bit of smoke coming out of that number 1 car. Comes around for his qualifying lap. It's 15.258. Out there on the track right now in a car made famous by Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Twitter account. Billy Yates, the 2024 M40 track champion, looking to go home tonight with $5,000 in his pocket. Takes the white flag, and that Privy Septic serves high side bodies number 51 car. 2 more turns to get it done as he flies down the backstretch into turns number 3 and 4. Billy Yates will see the checkered flag as he pokes his nose out of turn number 4. Comes around. Every lap tonight sets the stage for the Raber Street Stock Rumble. In just a little while, this battle will begin under the lights. We're just about to wrap up single car qualifying. We're going to go ahead and send that 99 Ricky LeDuc back out there. Hopefully we got that transponder fixed this time by. We didn't pick up any lap times for him. So we'll see that hometown hero, number 99, Ricky LeDuc in the Ritterman oil machine. Comes around for his qualifying laps. Hometown fans know this car well. And in this street stock division presented by Techwork Trailer Sales, it's all about power out here. Ricky LeDuc 14.926, good enough for the 4th spot. That seems like it'll wrap up single car qualifying for your Raber Street Stock Rumble, powered by Techwork Trailer Sales. We're glad you guys are here tonight. We have a big show in store for you. Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Kalamazoo Speedway for the exciting Raber Street Stock Rumble race brought to you by Techwork Trailer Sales. Today, we're celebrating the legacy of Ben. Kyle Ribble, no stranger to victory lane here at Kalamazoo, has parked it in the Rescued Metals and Supplies victory lane a few times this season out here at KZoo. Happy to have him aboard with us. Edging out Jeff Gannis by 0.135 seconds. This is a fast field. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together tonight at Kalamazoo Speedway as we host the JEGS CRA All-Star Tour and the Raber Street Stock Rumble. We ask for your blessings on this tonight. Watch over our drivers, crews, and fans. Keep everyone safe on and off the track. Fill this place with good sportsmanship, excitement, and the thrill of racing that brings us all together as one big family. And when this night is done, let us all return home safely. Now, Speedway family, if you believe it, shout it with me. All God's people said, Amen. Please remain standing at this time as we honor our nation with the playing of our national anthem. That top row racing media pace car. It's the number 31, Josh Garrett. Outside pole in the 42, we have Danny Brown. Row number 2 on the inside, the number 59 car piloted by Bradley Bullis. Outside row number 2, starting P4, the number 58 car of Zeke Gaeta. Number 3, that number 69 car starting in the 5th position tonight. That's Ed Bergen. Outside row number 3 in the 32 car starting in P6, we have Chris Garrett. Row number 4 in the 14 starts P7 tonight. That is Kaylee Hufford. Row number 4 on the outside, P8, that belongs to none other than hometown hero K2, Kenny Head the second. Row number 5 on the inside starts 9th, that's the number 4 car, Josh Trammell. Outside row number 5, starting P10 in the number 66 car, that is Nick Stremme. Row number 6 in the 11th spot. That's the number 72 car, piloted by Evan Veruden. Purple Dew starting 12th outside row number 6. That is Jesse Van Avery. Row number 7 in the 13th spot. That's the number 44 car. Kalamazoo, you know him. Give him some noise. That's Anthony Duell. Row number 7 outside, starting P14, the 4W car of Bill Walden. Row number 8 on the inside, 2G car starts 15th tonight. That's Scott Gary. Outside, row number 8 starts 16th tonight. The 00 car, Swervy Ken Kirby. Row number 9 on the inside starts 17th tonight in the number 16 machine, Dwayne Green. Familiar car, you guys have seen this car out here before, starts in the 18th spot tonight. Outside row number 9, the number 20 car, Brett Denton. Row number 10 on the inside starts 19th tonight, 20E of Bill Edwards. Outside, row number 10 in the 12H car. That's the Twisted Automotives machine, piloted by Trevor Hoekstra.
You can make your way to the make race.
And tagging up the rear, starting 21th tonight, all by himself in row number 11. That's the 31D, Derek Lundgren. Drivers, let's get ready to roll. I need some help to count these drivers down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines.
Check 1, 2.
"25 laps the distance on this race. Your Street Stock B feature presented by Techwork Trailer Sales. We're happy you guys have joined us out here. Normally for a Fast Friday, tonight it's a Fast Saturday. Couldn't have asked for better weather out here in August in Kalamazoo. Not a cloud in the sky. Temperatures roughly 70 degrees and dropping throughout the night, which will make these race cars a lot quicker. This will definitely affect the handling of this track tonight. As the temperatures drop, look for these drivers to have to make some on-the-fly adjustments, maybe pick a different line. This will be a close race tonight. As these drivers get ready to roll down that backstretch, as they come into turns number 3 and 4, Kalamazoo, I want you on your feet. It is time to meet and greet your drivers, representing your B feature Street Stock. Let's give them a wave, Kalamazoo. This is the wave lap. Kalamazoo Speedway tradition out here. These drivers can see it, they'll wave back. As they wave back, they're thanking their friends, family, and sponsors, everybody who supports them, helps them do what they love. Kalamazoo, thank you for coming out. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kalamazoo Speedway. Tonight's event is the Raber Street Stock Rumble. Right now out on the track, you're looking at the B feature. We had more cars in the race than we could take into that A feature. We'll let them battle it out for 25 laps, this time by white flag waves. Lights on top of the top row racing medium pace car are out. Josh Garrett and Danny Brown will lead the field to green this next time by. Look for that top row racing media car to duck off that backstretch before he gets run over by that front row. They are butt to gut, door to door. We go racing in turn 4. Garrett enters the start zone, green flag waves, and we are racing here at Kalamazoo Speedway for your B feature, Raber Rumble. Out front with an early advantage, the number 42 car. Danny Brown gets sideways down there into turn number 3, able to save it, touches the front fender of Garrett, takes the advantage, gets pushed into there. Down out of there, almost collect a bunch out there. Number 42 Brown gets washed up, and Garrett will take the lead this time by. Two of those maroon monsters, the number 31 and the number 32 of Chris Garrett. Coming on in there, and that'll bring out the Rescued Metals and Supplies caution flag for the first time tonight in your Street Stock B features. We've given the command to show them one next time by. Track Services parks that truck behind the wall at turn number 2. Will lead the charge to green over in turn number 4. That yellow spot painted on the wall over there outside and inside of turn number 4. That is our restart zone. That's where we start our races. That's where we restart our races. You'll watch these guys stomp on that loud pedal as they enter into turn number 4. Get ready for it, Kalamazoo. We are racing. Inside out with the advantage. Shot out of a cannon, number 31, Josh Garrett. Outside of him, that number 51. His teammate right behind him, the number 32 car. 2 maroon rockets charging down that front stretch into turn number 1. And we have a car smoking hard. The number 4 car lets his motor go and smoke everywhere. Goes around fumigating for mosquitoes. There will not be a... Gives them 1 to go. Kalamazoo. We are ready to go racing over in turn number 4. 25 laps the distance. Josh Garrett, Bradley Bullis will lead the field to green over in turn number 4. We're going to try this one more time, Kalamazoo. On your feet, let's send them racing. Out front early, Josh Garrett still with the advantage out there. Being pushed along by his teammate, that number 32 car, Chris Garrett. Quite the pair these guys make. Number 58 car takes over the lead. That's Zeke Gaeta, the number 58 car, 0.2 of a second quicker than Josh Garrett and Chris Garrett as they go charging down the backstretch as he looks up to open this into a race of his own. Zeke, Garrett, and Bullis Stremme enters into the top 5. Side by side go the Garretts. Into him gets Bradley Bullis, has some front end damage to the nose of that number 59 car. Wads up that front end, keeps racing. We might have some cooling issues on that number 59 machine later on. That number 58 car, Zeke Gaeta, opens up almost a 1 second lead over Josh Garrett as he goes charging into turn number 4. K2, Kenny Head the second has joined the chat. He sits in the 3rd spot right now, just 0.4 of a second out of that number 2 spot. Zeke Gaeta out front in a race of his own, trying to be hunted down by Josh Garrett in that number 31 car. K2 slides in between him and Chris Garrett. K2 in the 3rd spot. Nick Stremme, your quick qualifier for this race, sits in the 5th spot right now. Garrett and K2 having a battle of their own back into that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place spot. That is heating up. The more these guys battle, the further that number 58 car gets to pull away from the rest of them. These guys are battling it out, going down to the backstretch. Think better about 3 wide. Send it 2 wide into turns number 3. Rolling into turn number 4. Stremme looks to the outside of that number 32 car, Chris Garrett. K2 with the advantage going into there, down to the backstretch, and we bring out the yellow flag as that number 20 car. Denton goes sideways over in turn number 3, and we collect a few down there in a yard sale in between turns 3 and 4. We collect both of the Garretts, it looks like, down there. Lap to go before we send these machines charging hard out of turn number 4. Once they get into turn number 4, it'll be Gaeta and Garrett Gaeta and K2 that lead the field to green. Get ready, Kalamazoo. We are racing. Green flag comes out. K2 goes charging around. Gaeta with the advantage coming out of turn number 2. Right at his door is K2. Down to the backstretch. Gaeta with the advantage coming out of turn number 4. Onto the outside. We have some smoke coming out of that top 5 pack. That number 4 car showing smoke as they go charging. We've got another lap complete. Gaeta right now still with the advantage. Pulls out a bumper's length over K2. K2 looks to the outside of Gaeta. Going into turn number 4. A little more smoke getting kicked up there. Number 66, Nick Stremme. On K2's bumper right there. He is pushing him all around that track. Gap is closing. Going onto the outside. K2 peeks to the outside of Gaeta. Not going to do it. Closes the door on him. Gaeta still your leader at the line. Not as big of a gap opening up outside this time. We are 9 laps into this 25-lap race. K2 with the patience of a saint. Looking to the outside of that number 58 car, Zeke Gaeta. Zeke Gaeta doing everything he can do to hold off the number K2 car of Kenny Head the second. Kenny Head the second, setting him up for a good pass. Goes to the inside, not going to work for him. Takes it up right behind his bumper. Nick Stremme hard on his bumper. Onto the outside of the number 32 car, Chris Garrett. Chris Garrett and Nick Stremme go charging door to door into turn number 3 and 4. Trammell round out your top 5 right now. 12 laps in. and approaching halfway. Gata with the advantage this whole time. He's got a whole crowd of fast cars coming up behind him. He has the likes of Nick Stremme, Kenny Head the second, Chris Garrett, Josh Trammell, all looking for that top spot. $1,000 to win tonight. $1,000 buys a lot of tires. Gata still with the advantage, 0.2 of a second over Kenny Head the second. K2 closing that gap. Nick Stremme hard on his bumper, filling up the rear view mirror of that K2 car. Chris Garrett looks to the inside into turn number 3, has the advantage over Stremme. Stremme goes beside him. Garrett out with the advantage, takes over that number 3 spot. At the line, Zeke Gata still with the advantage, 0.3 of a second, the lead over Kenny Head the second. Nick Stremme in the top 3. Chris Garrett is 4th, and Josh Trammell, your top 5. These cars battling it out as they enter into turn number 4. This is a close one. They have pulled away from the rest of the pack, are in a race of their own. Zeke Gata has had the commanding lead all race long. Nick Stremme looks to set him up on the outside, has something to say about that coming out of turn number 4. At the line, Zeke Gata with the advantage, door to door with Nick Stremme. Nick Stremme looking to take over that number 1 spot. Going down the backstretch, pulls away by a bumper into turn number 3. Gata looking to close that door, still door to door down there at the line. We have a new leader, and that is Nick Stremme. Nick Stremme takes over that top spot. In the mix, K2 falls back into the number 4 spot. Number 4, Josh Trammell, slides up into the 2nd spot. We are shuffling positions around all afternoon here with 5 laps to sort this one out. 5 more laps remaining. Nick Stremme on the top of the leaderboard. Josh Trammell looking to edge his way into that top spot. Sits just 0.3 of a second outside of that lead. Zeke Gata's fallen off the pace a little bit, finds himself back into the 3rd spot. Ed Bergen out there, that number 69, Rob's Tire and Auto. Charging down the backstretch, Nick Stremme. Nick Stremme exits out of turn number 4. When he gets to the line, there will be 2 laps to go, and yellow flag comes out as we have a problem down there at the entrance of turn. We're going to show them 1 to go this time by Kalamazoo when they take the green flag. 22 out of 25 laps completed. Just a few laps to sort this one out. Watch for these guys to be beating and banging, everybody wanting that top spot. At the line, Nick Stremme and Josh Trammell will lead the field to green over in turn number 4. 3 laps left to get this done. Who thinks Nick Stremme's going home with this one? And we are racing here at Kalamazoo Speedway one more time. 3 laps the distance. Nick Stremme out front with the lead, just barely over Josh Trammell. Josh Trammell comes to the outside in turn number 4. Looks to close that gap down. Door to door they go. 0.1 of a second separates these 2. 2 more laps to get it done. Stremme charging hard down into turn number 3 and 4. Onto the inside with the advantage. Seems to be the fast groove this time by. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go. Nick Stremme with 2 more turns to get it done. Exits out of turn 2, sees that backstretch. 2 more turns to go. Goes into turn number 3. Rolls it into turn number 4. Josh Trammell's not going to make this one easy. At the line, it is Nick Stremme coming home with your B-featured victory. Presented to you by Techwork Trailer Sales. Hard-fought battle for that number 66 car. Nick Stremme working his way up from the middle of the pack to come home with the victory tonight. He's going to park that number 66 car down there in the Rescued Metals and Supplies victory lane. Nick Stremme, Josh Trammell, and K2 Kenny Head the second are your top 3.
and they stay there, and they say yeah, and they
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it and my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, what they saying Ludacris. My foolish flow, my hands go up and down.
Nick Stremme gets it done, parks at number 66 machiners, representing your Raber Street Stock Rumble, presented by Techwork Trailer Sales. Let's go ahead and meet these drivers. Stand on your feet on the pole. It's the number 51 from Lawton, Michigan, Billy Yates. Outside pole, starting in the second position, the number 28, and that's Logan Maynard. Row number 2 on the inside, starting P3 in the 32X machine. From Buchanan, Michigan, it's Corey Pressler. Outside, row number 2, starting in P4, all the way from Plymouth, Michigan, it's the number 17 car, C. Bowen. Row number 3 on the inside, hometown hero from Shelbyville, Michigan, the number 64 car, piloted by Mason Montgomery. Outside, row number 3, starting in the 6th position from Otsego, Michigan, it's the number 2 T car, that's Jeffrey Town. Row number 4 on the inside from Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's a 27 car of David Leonard Jr. Big name out here at Kalamazoo. Starting outside, row number 4 in the 75 machine. That's Chad Van Sperentag. Row number 5 on the inside. That's going to be started off by the number 21 car, Mike Gain. Outside, row number 5, starting in P10 from Goshen, Indiana. That's the number 29 car of Austin Maynard. Hard luck out here last week, starting on the inside of row number 6, the number 11 car of Colin Bozell. Outside, row number 6, the number 5 car. He's under a rocket today from Constantine, Michigan. That is Brock Guinness. Row number 7 on the inside from Otsego, piloting the 21X machine. Give it up for Zach Westdorp. Outside, row number 7 in the 99 car. He went to Victory Lane in 2023. He went to Victory Lane in 2024. Looking for the three-peat. That is Ricky LaDuke. Runner-up in your street stock points division here at Kalamazoo, starting on the inside, row number 8 from Allegan, Michigan, the 70X machine of Andrew Rutherford. Another one joining us from Constantine, Michigan, the 5G car, starting outside, row number 8, that's Jeff Gannis. Your street stock points champion from Gun Lake, Michigan in the 25R car. Starting inside, row number 9, that is Kyle Ribble. Outside, row number 9 in the 3A machine, that is Sean Armour. Row number 10 on the inside, the number 9 car from Mattawan, Michigan. Give it up for Alex Sexton. Outside, row number 10 in the 5H from Vicksburg, Michigan. Give it up for Tyler Hofford. Inside, row number 11 from Buchanan, Michigan. It's the number 1 car, piloted by Nick Pressler. Outside, row number 11 in the 35 car, all the way from Triple Ripple, Michigan. That is Brandon Maynard Jr. Row number 12 on the inside. It's the 12 from Bristol, Indiana, Dustin Lundgren. Tagging up the rear of row number 12 out there in the number 10 car from Buchanan, Michigan. Kalamazoo, make some noise for Cody Lawler. That is your street stock starting lineup for your Raber Rumble. We are assisted today in the flag stand by Braxton. He's going to be our honorary flagman. That is Ben Raber's nephew down there. Kalamazoo, help me count these drivers down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines! Kalamazoo, I want you to bust out those cell phone lights, get them high into the sky. As these cars roll through turn number 3, this will be the wave lap. Bust out those cell phone cameras. Give these drivers a wave as they wave back. This is the missing man formation out front right now as we honor the late Ben Raber. He is the reason we put on this Raber Street Stock Rumble for you guys. Thank you guys for coming out to Kalamazoo Speedway. 50 laps the distance. $5,000, the grand prize. White flag is in the air. Lights on top of the Top Row Racing medium pace car. Go out. We go racing next time by. Pace car jumps off of the track down into the pits. Billy Yates, Logan Maynard will bring the field to green. Nose to tail, butt to gut, door to door, we go racing in turn 4. Green flag is out and we are underway here at Kalamazoo Speedway for the Raber Street Stock Rumble. Out front early, Billy Yates in that number 51 car made famous by Dale Earnhardt Jr. on Twitter earlier this year. Number 51 car, he happens to be the champion of the Street Stock division for the M40 Speedway. Right now he's out front. He wants $5,000 in his pocket, but he's got a lot of competition stacking up behind him. Billy Yates, Logan Maynard, Corey Chrysler, Steve Brown, and Jeffrey Town rounding out your top 5 as Billy Yates goes charging down that backstretch and pulls away from the rest of the field. Sparks coming out of that number 28 Logan Maynard car as his car comes up to top. Billy Yates still out front. Corey Chrysler knocking on his bumper, filling up that rear view mirror as they go charging down the start straight line. Billy Yates has been clean and smooth all season long in that car. Racing to go out here at Kalamazoo Speedway. So far, so good. Billy Yates, Corey Chrysler, Logan Maynard, C. Brown, and Jeffrey Town round out your top 5. Yates, Chrysler duking it out there. 0.2 of a second. out, gets a little squirrely coming out of turn 2, corrects it, goes high side into turn number 3. Billy Yates still in command of this race. 8 laps down, 42 laps remaining. Big field of cars out here, huge names, everybody battling it out. The number 99 car, looking to show his face in here. The number 99 car, Ricky LeDuc, the winner of the last 2 Raber Rumbles out here at Kalamazoo Speedway, 2023, 2024, both belong to the number 99 car of Ricky LeDuc as he looks to go for a 3-peat tonight. Right now, Ricky LeDuc sitting up in the yellow flag comes out as we put a number 21 car out there into the wall outside of turn number 4. We'll slow it down for the Rescued Metals and Supplies caution flag for the first time in your Raber Street Style. To go is the command. We'll go racing next time by. Yates and Pressler will lead the field to green. We'll start racing again one more time in turn number 4. Through turn number 3, entering to turn number 4, hammered down, and we are racing one more time. Billy Yates out front early on, gets the advantage. Shuffles it up ahead of Corey Pressler. Pressler goes to the door side on the outside. Billy Yates still with the advantage out front there. Jeffrey Town and Logan Maynard have something to say about that. Logan Maynard hot on the bumper, the number 51, Billy Yates, as they go charging down into the backstretch. Logan Maynard wants the inside of the number 51. Billy Yates will not give it to him, closes that door and retains the lead. Down into turn number 1. This is a hard battle for these top 5 spots. Number 32, Corey Pressler looks to the outside. Logan Maynard wants that inside. He's not going to get it this time by. Billy Yates still with the advantage coming off. Still out front in that Privy Septic Service high side body, number 51. It's Billy Yates still commanding as we're 14 laps into this 50-lap feature here for the Raber Street Stock Rumble. Logan Maynard looks to hunt him down. Logan Maynard really wants that inside spot. Billy Yates just refuses to give up that inside. Waiting for him to make a mistake. This might be it. Nope. Closes the door as they roll into turns number 3 and 4. Jeffrey Town looks to the outside. Will these two go battling at it? Less than 2/10 of a second separate first and second place. Billy Yates, Logan Maynard, Jeffrey Town, Corey Pressler, and Mike Gain rounding out your top 5. This battle is starting to heat up. Yours defending Street Stock champion out here, that number 25 of Kyle Ribble, has moved his way up into the middle of the pack. Lots of cars left. He has to pick them off one by one. Only 17 laps in. That number 25 Town Automotive car is looking great tonight. He sets his sights on the number 99 of Ricky LeDuc. Ricky LeDuc, remember, 2-time winner out here of the Raber Street Stock Rumble. Close behind Ribble, we have the number 9 car, Alex Sexton, that Lund Dr. Seeley Auto Group car. He came up just 1 spot short 2 years ago in the points, looking to make amends for that one. He would love to go home with $5,000 in his pocket tonight. That number 9 BC Diesel Lund Dr. car is looking hot this evening. He is right on the heels of number 25, Kyle Ribble, as they go charging into turns number 1 and 2. Back down into the front, we've got a new leader, Logan Maynard out front in that number 28 machine. Logan has taken over that top spot from Billy Yates. Jeffrey Town looks to go to the outside. Billy Yates not going to give up that inside spot. He's Jeffrey Town outside down the backstretch. Has the advantage rolling into turn 3. Billy Logan Maynard. Logan Maynard has some company going into turns number 3 and 4 outside of him. In the number 2 car, still at the line, that's Logan Maynard. Logan Maynard still with the advantage going out the backstretch. Jeffrey Town looking to go high side, hustler on him. Goes to the outside of him in turns number 3 and 4. Maynard still with the advantage coming across the line. Ganis gets a little swirly down there, gets a little bit of a bump by the number 70X, Andrew Rutherford. Ganis able to save it, straightens it out, and keeps on racing. 3 wide, Ricky LeDuc to the outside, and that Ritterman oil machine saves it. They go 2 wide, charging down into turns number 1 and 2, down the backstretch. Make sure you guys keep your eye on that number 99 Ricky LeDuc machine. Look for him to be at the top when this race is over. Halfway home. As these cars start to space out, 0.2 of a second is what separates first and second place. Logan Maynard over Jeffrey Town by an eyelash right now. $5,000 on the line. Nobody is letting this one go easily. They will leave it all out on the track. Maynard with a bit of advantage coming out of turn number 2. Down that backstretch, Logan Maynard through 3 and 4 with the advantage over Jeffrey Town. Billy Gates holding off number 5, Brock Ganis. Brock Ganis, a big name out here. Now it's auto sales, number 5 car. Both these Ganis men are fierce competitors everywhere they go, no matter what track they show up to. Entering the chat, the number 70, Andrew Rutherford, that 70X car. Andrew Rutherford finished runner-up in your points battle out here. He's driving the Shelbyville Garage Town Automotive machine, and he would love to go home with $5,000 stuffed in it. He has joined up into the top 5. Still a big battle out front for your top 5 cars. Logan Maynard still with the commanding lead. Jeffrey Town all over that car, just waiting to capitalize on a mistake. He just needs number 28 car to slip up in his line so he can go past him. Jeffrey Town just 0.2 of a second outside of that lead spot. Billy Yates still out there in the number 3 spot. Brock Ganis and Andrew Rutherford rounding out your top 5. Don't look now. That number 11 car, DNS Auto Machine, piloted by Colin Bozell, has joined the chat. He will make his way up into the 6th spot as he gets around the number 5 of Ganis down the backstretch. Number 11 car, Colin Bozell, had a bit of hard luck last week. Got into some trouble over on the front stretch. Broke the front end pieces, ended up bringing it to a rest over at turn number 1. Bozell team got that car fixed, got everything straightened out, parts replaced, and he has brought it out, and it looks quicker than ever tonight. He is right now sitting in the number 7 spot. Charging right behind him. 3 good cars right there. Colin Bozell, Kyle Ribble, and Ricky LeDuc. LeDuc looking to the outside. LeDuc gets that over Kyle Ribble, takes over that spot, sets his sight on Andrew Rutherford now as they go charging down the backstretch. Still, Logan Maynard running the gamut on this race today. Still out front. Nobody has gone home or pulling away with this one by a long shot right now. 0.2 of a second is all that's going to separate first and second place right now. Number 5, Brock Ganis enters the chat. We have a 3-way battle for the lead. Jeffrey Town is not giving an inch right now. Brock Ganis onto the inside. He is going to be held up by Logan Maynard. He is going to find it hard to get around him. He needs Jeffrey Town to move up the racetrack to get around him. Town up the racetrack. He is a high side hustler as he looks to come down into the backstretch. Takes the spot right behind the bumper of that number 28, Logan Maynard. Logan Maynard's going to have some lap traffic to deal with as he comes up on that number 10 car. Door to door down the backstretch. Jeffrey Town with the advantage. Will we have a lead change at the line as they roll through turns number 4? At the line, it is Jeffrey Town taking over that lead for the number 2 car. Your new leader, Jeffrey Town, as he starts to pull away from Logan Maynard. Brock Ganis in contention there. Neck and neck. They're going to have to pit this lap car against somebody here. Logan Maynard's going to get held up by that goes for a ride down there on the front stretch, and we'll bring out the Rescued Metals and Supplies caution flag for the second time tonight in your Raber Street Stock Rumble. In the way right now is Jeffrey Town, has the outside advantage coming through turns 3 and 4. Sideways and spin cycle for the number 10, Cody Lowler goes for a ride down there on the front stretch, and we'll bring out the Rescued Metals and Supplies caution flag. Well, we have a little break in action. We're going to send them through the choose line this time by. Jeff Town goes to the outside. That high side hustler goes to the outside. Ganis to the inside. Race fans, whether you're hauling your race car, your toys, or your tools, do it with confidence thanks to Techwork Trailer Sales, your trusted trailer experts. From enclosed trailers to open haulers, parts, service, and custom builds, Techwork Trailer Sales has what you need to get down the road and to the track in style. Proud supporter of your street stock division here at Kalamazoo Speedway, Techwork Trailer Sales keeps you rolling strong. Stop by their lot or check them out online at techworktrailers.com or give them a call today at 574-294-7200. Tell them Kalamazoo Speedway sent ya. Heading back trackside, we've shown them one to go. Jeffrey Town and Brock Ganis will lead the field to green this time by. We go live in that yellow stripe over in turn number 4. 10 laps the distance to go. Green flag racing, and we are live here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Jeffrey Town outside with that advantage. Goes to the outside, being pushed around the track by the number 5 of Jeff Ganis. Bring out just as quick the Rescued Metals and Supplies caution flag again as we lining them up, scrubbing their tires. We'll go racing next time by. Race control has given the command to show them one to go. This one will be a nail biter. Nobody's given up an inch here. Less than 0.2 of a second has been the time to separate your top 1 and 2 cars. And we'll send them live one more time once they enter into turn number 4. Ganis and Town lead the field to green, and we are racing Kalamazoo. Ganis with the advantage out front onto the inside. Outside, Jeffrey Town not going to give that spot up easily. Jeffrey Town, Brock Ganis battling it out on that front row. Colin Bozell has joined the chat. He wants the inside. Bozell in that DNS auto service car. Wanted it up into turn number 1 last week. Wants some redemption this week. $5,000 will repair a lot of street stock parts. Bozell in that number 11 charges hard onto the inside of Jeffrey Town into turn number 4. Out front, Brock Ganis right now your leader, followed by Jeffrey Town and Colin Bozell. This will be a nail biter all the way down to the end. Ganis rolling into turn number 4, pulls away from Jeffrey Town, starts to open up that lead. That car does a lot better once it's out in the air. That Ganis car is a rocket tonight. He just needed to get out front with nobody in front of him. Ganis getting it done through turns number 4. Comes down the backstretch. Jeffrey Town just over a half a second back. Colin Bozell just behind him. At the line, we will have 5 laps remaining to sort this one out, Kalamazoo. 5 laps for 5 great Gannis. Jeff Gannis wants a piece of the action. This is a very concentrated top four right here at Kalamazoo. 2 laps to sort this out. 2 more laps to go. Brock Gannis, if he can get it done, he will be $5,000 richer tonight. White flag waves over Gannis. 4 more turns to get it done. Rolls through turn number 1 and turn number 2. Goes charging down the backstretch in a race of his own. Into turn number 3. All he has to do is keep it clean. He sees that checkered flag waving as he exits turn number 4. Going home with the victory. $5,000 richer tonight. Brock Gannis from Constantine, Michigan. Gannis out there doing a little showboating. $5,000 is a lot of reasons to be doing burnouts in that. $5,000 will buy a lot of Hoosier tires. Getting it done, coming through turns 3 and 4 to park it in the Rescued Metals and Supplies victory lane. It's Brock Gannis. There he is, stepping from his car. Let's hear it for Brock Gannis. $5,000, the grand prize, and that is going home with none other than Brock Gannis getting it done tonight, parking it in the Rescued Metals and Supplies victory lane.
Blake said running a super here is a little bit different than running a pro. We might see that 2 grooves come into effect, but with this being the first ever JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour race at Kalamazoo Speedway, things are for sure to take others for a win.
And Blake Rowe doesn't have that get fired up personality, you know what I mean? He anytime you talk to him and ask him what his chances are, he's really, casual about it, but he's confident. He's a really confident driver, and when I talked to him this afternoon, he seemed confident tonight.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. So we'll get ready to line these drivers up. Want to say thank you for everyone coming out to Kalamazoo Speedway, as in a matter of moments, we'll get ready for driver intros. Race fans, it's that time for driver intros. Who's ready to meet the starting lineup for the 2025 Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125? Rolling off 16th, driving the number 24, Hutcherson Construction Racing Toyota from Middleville, Michigan, it's Lane Head. Starting 15, driving the number 15, DT Performance Designs, TLC Motorsports Marketing, Oakley Race Car Ford. From Bryan, Ohio, it's Avery Demlin. Rolling off 14, driving number 57, Donner Farms Ford. From Middleville, Michigan, it's Justin Thomas. Starting 13, driving number 47, Demolin Concrete and Epoxy, Alternative Plumbing, Blades, and Lawn Care Chevrolet. From Sylvania, Ohio, Craig Stillwell Jr. Rolling off 12th, driving the number 12, Neurosteel Chevrolet, making his first JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour start. From Kalamazoo, Michigan, it's Brett Drombetti. Rolling off 11, driving the number 9. Cast Sheet Metal Telegraph Heating, Ray and Rachel Armstrong, Team Ford from LaSalle, Michigan. It's Guy Fire. Starting 10, driving the number 4, JMS Transport, One Stop Speed Shop, Maybe Water Hauling Chevrolet from New Boston, Michigan. It's Justin Schroeder. And starting to his inside, starting 9, driving the number 23, Edco Welding Chevrolet, the 2022 ASA CRA Super Series champion from Indianapolis, Indiana, Eddie Van Meter. Rolling off 8th, driving the number 14, US 131 Motorsports Chevrolet. Won at Flat Rock Speedway earlier in the year from Bell River, Ontario. It's Chase Pinseno. Starting 7th, driving the number 24, Hutchison Construction, Southwest Roofing, Beaver Creek Tile, Toyota. From Wayland, Michigan, it's Dylan Stovall. And coming to green, starting 6th, driving the number 32, Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers, McDonald's Towing, James E. X Full Station, Chevrolet. From Lawton, Michigan, the winner at Whittemore earlier this year, it's Chris Shannon. Starting 5th, driving the number 20, Town & Country Carpet, Quick Time Automotive, Product 41 Chevrolet from Belmont, Michigan, it's Austin Hall. Rolling off 4th, driving the number 22, Shotco Motorsports, Shotco Properties, Toyota from Coopersville, Michigan, it's Evan Shotco. Starting 3rd, driving the 131 RMD Racing Chevrolet. Masters of the Pro winner from Owasso Speedway from Rockwood, Michigan. It's Kyle Crum. And for your front row, starting 2nd, driving the number 23, Edco Welding Chevrolet, the current JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour points leader from Indianapolis, Indiana. It's Billy Van Meter. And leading us to green, driving the number 71, Precision Fleet, Lisa Thomas Salon Chevrolet, the 2024 JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour champion from Ortonville, Michigan. It's Blake Rowe. Race fans, your starting lineup for the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Drivers buckled in. World's most famous 3/8 mile racetrack as we get ready for the command. Race fans, we are all here because of you, so let's do the command together. Get on up and say the most famous words in motorsports in 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines. Grandstands filled from turn 4, parts to turn 3, all the way down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2 as we get ready to ride for 125 laps of action. Rich France, a championship battle is on the line, but an opportunity to win. We talked with Chris Shannon. What would it mean to get a win at Kalamazoo Speedway in the early morning hours of Friday? A lot were mentioning how big of a name Chris Shannon is here on the west side of Michigan. Yes, he wants a championship. He wants to cut that lead back to Billy Van Meter, but taking the checkered flag this evening will mean more to him than most.
Talked to him all season long, and he wanted to get a JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour win. He got that out of the way up at Whittemore. Now he has the chance to do it at his home track, and he's starting outside of the 3rd row. Pretty good spot for Chris Shannon.
And I want to keep an eye on Evan Shotco. Just became a Motor Mountain Masters champion a week ago. Went quick time in qualifying. Didn't redraw the way he wanted to. But as this field gets ready to turn rotations around the Kalamazoo Speedway, we think about what he can do. Did the waves, the tides turn for Evan Shotko at the right moment to continue to knock off wins throughout the 2025 season. That machine starts on the outside of row number 2, but to get it done, it's Kyle Crump in 131.
And you got to talk about the 131 of Kyle Crump. Can somebody upset him? He's the trophy hunter. And any big trophy out there, any big paying race, it goes in Kyle Crump's pocket. He's looking for 5 in a row going back to last year. After picking up a big win in the Masters of the Pros up at Owasso Speedway, can he put another $15,000 in his pocket tonight here at the Kalamazoo Speedway? We'll have to wait and see.
Thinking about Kyle Crump, bang, won Toledo early in the year, the Big O Classic. He's a Masters of the Pros, and now an opportunity to race at one of the most historic racetracks in Michigan for a 4th win on the year. Can Kyle Crump do it? He's going to see what he can do, but Billy Van Meter on the outside of row number 1, what that team has been able to do, what that driver has been able to do to stay consistent throughout this season. Could it continue this evening?
Yeah, and you got to watch, and you can't forget about Austin Hall. He did not only win the Battle of Berlin, but he's got a three race win streak at the Berlin Raceway. Can he continue that win streak here at Kalamazoo tonight?
Drivers heating up those tires. The temperature has dropped from what it was this afternoon. The last time they were on the track, the street stocks had their B main and the main feature just a little bit ago, but now it's time for these pro late models to put everything on the line, put what they've got to work. The storylines heading into tonight is going to be interesting, but when they come back around, we're going to have the wave lap. So this is an opportunity for the race fans that have worked their way to Kalamazoo Speedway to get up on their feet. Every last one of you, stand on up, wave your hats, wave your cameras, wave the flashlight on your phone, because it's showtime for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. They're waving at you the way you're waving at them. And one of the big questions in the offseason was, what new tracks will be added to the schedule in 25? Where could we go? And Kalamazoo was one of the big ones that everyone said, you have to get it done. You got to go here. The racing is going to be amazing as we get ready for the one to go.
Yeah, they run. They have their own template super late model division that they run here on a weekly basis, but that's not like these cars. Their first appearance here at the Kalamazoo Speedway.
Last time Champion Racing Association was here 2014 for the ASA CRA Super Series, won by Kyle Busch. The first time for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour as we get ready to ride. Lights off on top of the CRA safety truck. Blake Rowe, Billy Van Meter, Kyle Crump, and Evan Shotko, the Fast Four, get ready to line up 2 by 2 and ride for 125 laps. Let's do it from Kalamazoo Speedway as they light the fuse in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Even draw down into turns 3 and 4. Kyle Crump to the quarter panel of Blake Rowe.
Billy Van Meter didn't get a great start off that race, but coming off of turn number 2 and that last lap, he's really started to work hard on the top side.
Doing what they can to. Crew's already in effect. Chase Pinson's mired in traffic. Kyle Crump is trying to clear the Billy Van Meter Chevrolet. Can't get it done as Blake Rowe has set sail to turn 3.
Sparks.
Shannon on the outside of hole, back to 3 and 4.
Shannon works the top side. He'll work around Hall. He'll stay up top.
And with 120 laps to go, Blake Rowe continues to hold on. So let's go through the field. Blake Rowe, Evan Shotko behind Kyle Crump. That's how they line up. Chase Pinsonneau, Billy Van Meter, Chris Shannon, Greg Stillwell Jr. continue to knock laps off the board. Austin Holmes in 6th, Pinsonneau's in 7th. Stillwell is back to 8th, but now the battle's on a little bit deeper in the field. This is a fight for 5th. 3 wide, Austin Hole on the bottom. Pinsono wants the middle. It's Chris Shannon on the outside of turn 4.
Austin Hall in the 20 opened up the bottom for Chase Pinsono. Not long enough for him to get a peek inside. Pinsono looking for a way to go. Why Hall and Shannon run side by side. So now Pinsono gets a chance to work the inside of 32.
Laps being knocked off the board. If you're just tuning on in, we say hello and welcome as the sparks fly under a West Michigan night at Kalamazoo Speedway. You're watching round 7 to 10 of the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. Chase Pinsono went fastest in practice on Friday. He was very quick in practice today as well, but where he qualified, it's starting to be that big, long haul towards the front side of this field. Had to find his way around Shannon, has to deal with Stovall, and now has laser lock as Austin Hall Chevrolet is sitting right in front of his 14.
Shannon finally gets his 32 machine down to the bottom, but not before Dylan Stovall works his way around.
Pinsono, back bumper of Austin Hall, a bump once, maybe a bump twice, and here he comes, sneaks on through. Pinsono on the inside, Austin Hall on the outside of turns 3 and 4, and Chase Pinsono will say thank you very much. That's P5.
We talked in the pre-race, Jonathan, you know, Chase Pinsono, second fast qualifier, just got bad luck when he threw the 8. And he's got a good race car, and 125 laps is fine, and Chase Pinsono's proving that right now.
It's very interesting to see how this driver's going to develop throughout the evening. Now, to catch Blake Rowe, it's going to be interesting. After 50 consecutive green flag laps, the competition costume will be displayed, but can't be displayed with 10 or so laps left in the event. So with that being said, how much time can you make up now, and will something go amiss? 109 laps to go. You have the opportunity to breathe and watch this track change if it could. Earlier today, Rich, the talk was lack of grip. We're still starting to see that slip in and slide in, but it's not as aggressive as it was early in the afternoon.
Yeah, Blake Rowe's doing a nice job out front, but Kyle Crump is not letting that 71 machine get out of his sights. Kyle Crump trailing him by about 2 or 3 car lengths.
And look a little bit deeper on. There's Dylan Stovall. There's Austin Hall. Avery Demlin on the inside lane. She'll be the first car to go a lap down, as she will be able to stay out of harm's way. Chris Shannon on the outside, and Eddie Van Meter will continue to clear. Up front, oh, is this Toledo? Because I remember when we saw the 131 in Kyle Crump and the 71 of Blake Rowe battle their heart out at the beginning of the season. Well, Kyle Crump's 131 is closing on in. It's just about 3.5 car lengths, the difference from first and second.
And I always say, Jonathan, water seems to find his level on the racetrack. If you have a good race car, you're going to find your way up front. As Lane Head pulls it off turn number 2, he'll head back to the pit area. He's done for the night.
Will be the first retiree of the event. Don't look now, but also Evan Shocko is closing in on the scene. The goal, if the top 2 start to dance, close in, maybe meet them and see if it's going to be 3 drivers dogfighting for the top position. Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, Evan Shocko. You have to go well deeper in the field, and that's where Billy Van Meter and Chase Pinsono are starting to fight. Van Meter on the defensive, Pinsono on the offensive.
Pinsono's in a hurry to get to the front. He ran down Billy Van Meter from a half a straightaway back, now trying to figure out where he wants to go. Looks like Pinsono's going to jump to the outside down the back straightaway.
He's doing what he can. Billy Van Meter underneath. Almost got the 14 tied in a knot, and there's Dylan Stovall looking for an opportunity. 3-driver dance back to turns 1 and 2. Billy Van Meter on the outside, Chase Pinsono on the inside. Dylan Stovall in 24. Can he get the 2-for-1 special? May have to be patient as it awaits another lap.
Nice crossover move by Chase Pinsono to get under, but he needs to clear Billy Van Meter. And who's in that battle? Dylan Stovall, just looking it over.
Seeing what he can do. Chase Pinsono, he painted the inside yellow line. Outside, Billy Van Meter hanging tough on the side panels of the 14 machine. Still dead even, wheel to wheel to turns 3 and 4. Dylan Stovall patiently waiting in the shallows to see if something can go his way. Let's move up further in the field as that battle continues on. It's still Blake Rowe, it's still Kyle Crump, and Evan Shocko. But the top three are now single file in line, putting down a lap to what looks to be Greg Stillwell Jr.
And Jonathan, I don't know if Billy Van Meter's car is the way he likes it. You hang him out there on that outside for a few laps, and he starts to slide back just a little bit. As you see now, Dylan Stovall making the move.
And honestly, watching racing like this is why we encourage you to come out to a JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour event. It's which one do I watch? Do I watch the near battle for the race lead that everyone's kind of in a standstill for the top three positions, or do we look back to 4th, 5th, and 6th where now they've single filed out, but it was a shuffle of positions just about a lap and a half ago. Pinchino is fast, so keep that in mind. Everyone continues to watch and wait as most of the field has calmed back single file.
Yeah, the field's spread out all around this Kalamazoo Speedway right now. Somewhat logging some laps. Some drivers try to gain track position while they have these fresh Hoosier tires.
Blake Rowe has dominated the early portions of this race, but his mirror has been filled with a red machine that looks awfully familiar. Rowe used to run in the 131 a little bit back in the day. I would say about a couple years ago. Kyle Crump has since filled that seat for 2025. And if you've been watching the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour for quite some time, last year Kyle Crump went to victory lane in the number 23 machine. So not unlikely to see these drivers hop around from team to team. But here in the name, Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, and Evan Shocko up front, it's really not a miss. Evan Shocko has had an interesting time, at least so far this year, leading into the Motor Mountain Masters 150. Both of his races, he ran down on the points paying side with DNS. This is the best run he has had up to this point for a points paying race, and he's looking to see if it can continue to the checkered flag.
And your top three now have decisions to make as they finally reach the back of the field, and they're now starting to work their way through lap traffic. Blake Rowe in the 71, Kyle Crump in the 131, Evan Shocko in the 22, nose to tail.
And they continue to run in the tire tracks of each other, hard on the throttle in the front straightaway, diving for that yellow line into turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Blake Rowe, his big struggle earlier today, just getting that car under control. It's fast, he's a fast driver, but you're starting to see that right rear stick out and tail out a little more, very reminiscent of what we saw maybe 4 or 5 hours ago, and that's where Kyle Crump is able to make a stand. Look at the grip level difference between first and second coming off corner exit versus on corner entry.
Now the problem your leaders are going to have, Jonathan, they're coming up on a couple drivers that are battling for position in the 9 of Guy Fire and the 4 of Justin Schroeder.
We're closing in on that competition caution. We've had 40 laps consecutive without any yellow or incident on track warranting a caution. So also something to know. If you're Kyle Crump, do you patiently wait or do you strike while the iron is hot? So when the restart comes, you have full advantage on the impending restart.
Well, Kyle Crump just gave you a little bit of a peek of what he was thinking. Blake Rowe's going to the high side. Kyle Crump's got it buried on the bottom.
Guy Fire's going to make it tough for the 71 machine. Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, let's ride. Wheel to wheel into turns 1 and 2. Rowe to the outside, it was 3 wide. Oh, Kyle Crump got jammed up by Guy Fire, and all the time that he made up has since been lost, working 82 laps to go. Shocko saw it, right? He saw the waters get really still, and then Ruff quickly bailed out of the throttle, watched it all unfold in front of him. I don't see any damage on the Kyle Crump machine, but for Blake Rowe, it's a nice sigh of relief knowing the next couple of laps, he can maybe take it easy until the caution flag waves.
And Justin Schroeder in the 4 and Guy Fire in 9 needed to settle that battle because as long as they ran side by side, they were going to stack up the leaders behind them.
Laps being knocked off the board, 46 complete so far. We have 79 laps remaining in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. It's been an interesting show up to this point. We've had battles deep in the field, we've had battles up front, and now everyone back home is thinking, okay, what's gonna happen? Rowe versus Crump. They're both somewhat similar on speed. Evan Shocko showing his strength. But how about Chase Pinsono? He just crosses the stripe in the 4th position, has been the biggest mover since the drop of the green flag.
And looking back in our field just a little bit, looking at the 20 of Austin Hull, your 2025 Battle at Berlin winner. Last few laps, I've been watching that back end on that 20 machine, Jonathan, come around just a little bit. And he told me this afternoon, we're not staving tires. We're going to go all the way to the end from lap 1. I don't know if that strategy is working out for him right now. Looks like that 20 car might be a little free.
Positions locked in if you already crossed the line. Chief starter Mark Henry gets ready to display the yellow flag after the completion of 50 consecutive laps, and there it is. Caution is out for the first time with 75 laps remaining in this event. 50 down, 75 laps to go. And okay, the storylines have built up, and that's what's so exciting about pro late model racing at a track with a series that really doesn't come out to this specific speedway. What do we not know that is soon to come up? Well, we do know Blake Rowe is fast, Kyle Crump is fast. We know Chase Pinsino, Evan Shotko, and even Dylan Stovall, right, starting to make their way towards the front half of this field. But this restart's going to be interesting because I've started to look back on some JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour races, and what I've noticed very consistently, the leader will get out to a sizable margin, that competition caution will come out, and all of a sudden the impending restart will have them clashing for the top spot, whether it's first, second, third, and fourth. So this is going to be a very interesting restart as they all line back up again.
And you look at Chase Pinsino, we saw him working his way up from that 8th position. He knew that there was going to be at least 2 cautions in this race, one way or another. So he could gain some track position, knowing he didn't have to run his tires off to catch up to the 22 of Evan Shotko. That 14 in Pinsino is a nice spot. He'll restart the outside of the second row on this restart.
And how do you conserve those Hoosier tires? The history of Hoosier Racing Tire is one of an American dream come true for 2 young Indiana entrepreneurs who turned a professional vision into a reality. Today, Hoosier Racing Tire has grown to be the largest tire manufacturer in the world. Hoosier has grown to produce over 1,000 different types of race tires. Hoosier Racing Tire, they fuel passion, pride, and success with tires designed for champions. And guess what? Those Hoosier tires would not be able to take the rotations without the Sunoco race fuels put in to every JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour stock car pro late model. For decades, Sunoco race fuels has been associated with racing excellence. Today, Sunoco has expanded the reach of its racing fuel around the world to include all types of professional motorsports and other activities where premium race fuels make a difference. Winning on today's racing circuit requires more than an exceptional driver and a well-built race car. It takes high-performance racing fuels. Find Sunoco race fuels.com/fuel finder to find a Sunoco fuel distributor near you. All right, pit road is open, in and out. Guy Fire down and in with his Ford Mustang. The 23 of Eddie Van Meter will now go towards the tail end of the field. I see Greg Stillwell Jr. back there as well. Brent Drobny in the 12 machine. As we get ready to try again, I love speaking to drivers after a practice session the first time and after the final practice session before they go qualifying. It's, what have you noticed about this racetrack? And mostly all of them say, oh, you're turning the entire time. There is no true straightaway here at Kalamazoo Speedway.
Justin Schroeder pulling down pit road. Believe he was the last one on the lead lap, or on the 1 lap down. So he should be getting... He'll probably get the lucky dog, so might as well come down pit road, just make some adjustments on that 4 machine. But Jonathan, we're sitting here at 50 laps. We know one way or another there's going to be at least 1 more caution in this event, whether natural cautions or by the competition caution. And so I think leading this race is hard because you have to try to set the pace. And maybe Kyle Crump can make Blake Rowe run quicker than what he really wants to this early in the race.
And I would say the unpredictability of the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour this year has been something to watch, right? We went to Toledo, and it was pretty textbook. We had a couple cautions here and there, but then you back it up with an Anderson that was really hard fought, controlled aggression. We went to the Big O Classic. Things got rowdy. Went to Flat Rock. Things got rowdy. Some thought the Masters, the pros would be that way. Then all of a sudden, no. It was just hard-fought racing. Whittemore, hard-fought racing. So what can we see with the next 75 laps? Will we get what we saw at the beginning of the year, the middle of the season, or maybe just something we haven't seen? Well, the choose code is in effect. Let's see where they go. Blake Rowe has a 71. He elects the inside lane. Kyle Crump will jolt to the outside. Inside, Evan Shocko, top end, goes Chase Pinsino as the rest of the field dials in 2x2.
Watching everybody, pretty much everything in order until Chris Shannon. And Chris Shannon, instead of going to the outside of Austin Hall, he tucked into the bottom. That allows Eddie Van Meter to pull up 1 row from where he would have started.
And we get ready to roll. Chief starter Mark Henry will display the 1-to-go flag. The lights will be turned off around the racetrack and off on top of the CRA safety truck. So let's get ready to go again. It's been the Blake Rowe show up front, but he has had a mirror full of oncoming challengers. Does it continue for the final 75 laps of this race? Let's find out. Rowe on the inside, Crump on the outside, Evan Shocko, Chase Pinsino, dial in back to the restart zone. Green once more in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Caution. And they're saying this one is coming back. Caution on the speedway. And we are hearing word, yes, there is no jump. There was nothing out of the ordinary. The lights accidentally went back on when they went through the restart zone. Some drivers let out of the throttle naturally, and that's where the CRA official said, whoa, 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 let's bring it back now as we'll try it again.
I was kind of wondering, Jonathan, because it looked like a pretty good restart between Kyle Crump and Blake Rowe on that front row.
So the caution being displayed for the second time, that being a slip. Not out of the drivers, but lights being turned on like a Christmas tree around Kalamazoo Speedway. So we'll get ready to do it again. They're lining up, and this is a little interesting, right? Because they all got back in that swing, right? And now they got to do it again, and it's not really for a miss. And it's going to be very quickly. The 1-to-go will be displayed shortly. So Mark Henry will once again get ready to display the 1-to-go flag. The Chevrolet Camaros at the front of the field will dial back in 2x2. Kyle Crump, Blake Rowe. If you're Kyle Crump, you just saw what Blake Rowe did. Was that something you expected? Maybe you didn't expect? Well, at least you maybe have a new sentence in the notebook that you could remember for the final half of this race. 75 laps remaining in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Let's get ready to go green again.
Very close. Kyle Crump trying to gain that advantage on the high side. Blake Rowe does not want to see the tail of Kyle Crump. He's going to fight for that lead as long as he can.
Did a great job squeezing him. Now Blake Rowe on the bottom will still not be denied. Crump top end gets a nose out in front halfway down the back straightaway, but it's Rowe with the late break to turns 3 and 4.
Kyle Crump hanging in there on the high side. Oh, going around. Chris Shannon goes around in turn number 1. Caution flag is out.
Not sure if he slammed the inside retaining wall at the right side of his machine, but it will bring the caution out for the 3rd time. Blake Rowe, I believe, was given the lap lead on the previous lap, so he will hold on to the race lead, but the caution will wait for the 3rd time in this event. Chris Shannon, you heard it during driver intros, applause and cheers on both ends of the racetrack, or should we say all ends at that case and note, and we're trying to see what the damage could be, but a turnaround indeed it was for the driver that's racing for a championship.
Well, usually you can tell what probably happened or what a driver thinks happened. Chris Shannon driving back up through the field to his original starting spot.
You know, I don't think he made contact with that inside wall. When I saw it all go down, you saw the car turn sideways and then roll back into the racing surface. So a great opportunity for Chris Shannon to get back going without having any significant damage. So 3 cautions. They've all happened within, I believe, the last 2 laps. For the ones that are wondering, caution laps do not count with the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, but if there is a consistent amount of cautions, the series officials do reserve the right to start counting caution laps as the evening goes on. Now, it is not likely, but it is there just in case things kind of get out of hand. In this case, nothing's really out of hand. We went 25 laps, or should we say 50 laps green, and now the last couple of cautions have come within this small point of the race. So working at lap 53 with 52 laps completed, Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, Evan Shotko, Chase Pinsino, Dylan Stovall, that is the top 5. Billy Van Meter is back in the 6th position. And it looks like Eddie Van Meter will be slotted in the 7th spot. Coming to 2 to choose this time by, I remember, I keep mentioning Toledo, I shouldn't really be doing that, but when we had the restarts there, it was almost like Blake Rowe and Kyle Crump, they were getting the idea of what they were able to do. When are you going to fire, right? Is it early in the restart zone? Is it late in the restart zone? When is that car going to get going in the box? And if you think back to Toledo, who got caught for jumping the restart? Blake Rowe and Kyle Crump went ahead and won that event. So it's nice to see these 2 drivers dogfight for the top position. Really excited to see how it goes as Blake Rowe choosing that outside lane.
And these 2 drivers up front, they're the best of friends, right? Blake Rowe was the spotter for Kyle Crump when he picked up the Redbud 400 win at Anderson Speedway. These guys are very close friends, and they're very cerebral drivers. They want to try to outthink each other. So we're going to have to see. Is that going to hurt one of them on the restart? We'll have to see.
1 to go. Lights come off around the Kalamazoo Speedway and on top of the CRA safety truck. So let's get ready to go again. Make the hard left to pit road. This time, Blake Rowe on the outside lane. Kyle Crump on the inside lane. Increased speed of the restart zone. They're back underway. Great launch for Kyle Crump on the inside lane. He should have the advantage halfway down the back straightaway.
Kyle Crump sails it down into turn number 3. It sticks.
Blake Rowe just got him at the line. And back to turns 1 and 2. Draw even once again.
Blake Rowe got a big run off of turn number 2. Should be able to clear Kyle Crump down the main straightaway. Almost, not quite.
How he gets that right rear tire to hook, line, and straight launch off. Turn number 4 has been absolutely amazing to watch. He'll try to cross the bow again. This of Kyle Crump, and does. Blake Rowe continues to lead the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. But he doesn't want to fully launch on the bottom. He's given a little bit more room to Kyle Crump that time in turns 3 and 4.
That was 2 laps in a row. Blake Rowe ran turns 1 and 2 totally different. The last lap he went through the second group. That lap he pinned it all the way down on the bottom.
Chase Pinsino, Evan Shotko. There was a quick flip for position. Pinsino is now up to the 3rd spot. Shotko goes back to 4th. No change by Dylan Stovall in the 24. Same with Billy Van Meter, but a little further back. That's Eddie Van Meter, the blue Chevrolet, to the outside. And on the inside, it's Austin Hull in the orange and black machine.
Jonathan, I'm really liking how this number 14 machine looks with Chase Pinsino. Now up to that 3rd spot, and he's all over the back bumper of Kyle Crump.
It has been speed out of the 14 since it unloaded Friday afternoon. But now how do you make your way around Kyle Crump? Crump in 2nd, Pinsino in 3rd. That is Evan Shotko still watching on from the 4th position, but no big change. It has allowed this near conga line, mere inches separating between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Used to seeing Kyle Crump on the offensive. Now at this point during the race, on the defensive. Having a mirror drive. How do I keep the 14 behind me? And what this has allowed is given Dylan Stovall an advantage and an opportunity to the inside of Evan Shotko.
And you got Kyle Crump back there battling with Chase Pinsino. Dylan Stovall getting into that battle now with Evan Shotko. And that leaves Blake Rowe to do nothing but start driving away. Keep in mind, we know there's still going to be another caution.
Dylan Dylan Stovall to the inside of Evan Shako. Shako was able to launch off turn number 2 to hold on to the position. Behind is still Billy Van Meter, but he wants to join into the front group. Van Meter running outside of the top 5. He is sitting in the, no, check that, now he is running inside the top 5. Continuing to watch on as these drivers elect to stay single file. Correction, Billy Van Meter is running 6th on the speedway. 5th is Dylan Stovall.
Starting to settle down after that restart, Jonathan. You know, they know that there's going to be another caution, and they don't really need to wear their cars out at this point in the race. If they can get a spot, they'll take it. But as you can see, they're just kind of getting in line and clicking off some laps.
And that's exactly what they need to do with 58 laps remaining here at Kalamazoo Speedway. You're watching round 7 and 10 of the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. A week from today, we'll be at Auto City for the Mudslinger. That will mark round 8 of 10 for the 2025 points paying season. 2 brand new back-to-back tracks for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. This year, Auto City was on the schedule in the previous season, that being 2024. Let's hold our breath for a moment, because who was smoking or at least steaming deeper in the field? Chris Shannon in 32 when he comes back across the front straightaway. You're going to see the right side. It's the geyser of Kalamazoo, as a lot of fluid has been working out of that race car.
Yeah, that 32 of Chris Shannon is starting to overheat, and the bad sign is once that water stops coming out, Jonathan, now Chris Shannon, that 32, has a real problem.
And so do you bring it to pit road? Do you lose laps, or do you become hopeful that a caution will wave in the next couple of rotations? That's what the Chris Shannon team is starting to question and wonder, because the overheating issue, it's not going anywhere. That is a lot of fluid coming out the right side. Up front, what have you missed? Well, not really much. Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, Chase Spincino, top 3, all Gen 6 late model bodies. Behind it is Evan Shako. That is still Dylan Stovall with a 23 of Billy Van Meter and Austin Hall. We're working 73 laps down on lap 74 as these drivers start knocking laps off the board. Okay, what's next? We continue to watch and worry about Chris Shannon, but Blake Rowe, if I'm not mistaken, has led every single lap up to this point. Has had challengers, there's been battles, duels, whatever you would like to call, from second on back. But for Rowe, he almost got bailed out, Rich, with the lap traffic at Guy Fire, because Kyle Crump was very poised to take the top position.
And I have to keep going back to look at that 32 machine of Chris Shannon. The performance on that engine is not being heard. He just drove around the outside of Eddie Van Meter, but still blowing steam and water out of that overflow. His crew, the crew of that 32 machine, has got to be concerned.
I would say they very much are. Oh, trouble, turn 3. Avery Demling goes around and parks it on the bottom side of the racetrack. The caution that Chris Shannon needed, and it will be the 4th one of the evening.
And you wouldn't think that overheating would be a problem tonight, Jonathan. It's cooled down nicely out there. You got to believe that they put too much tape, or did not take enough tape off after qualifying on that 32 machine. You know, it has a lot to do with the air and how the nose sticks to the racetrack. That may be a problem, because it's not the temperature. It's starting to cool off pretty good here at the Kalamazoo Speedway.
Avery Demlin, 4th caution. It looked like she was just way too quick back to the throttle off turn number 2, and once the right rear didn't stick, it was getting ready to go around. So 77 laps completed of the 125 scheduled here in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, Chase Pincino, that is the big 3 so far. Evan Shako, Dylan Stovall, that will be 4th and 5th. And we're hearing Greg Stillwell Jr. will be the free pass. Who comes to pit road? Who stays out? Guy Fire is in. Eddie Van Meter is in as well.
And I did look at the 32 machine of Chris Shannon. It started last lap by. It didn't have anything coming out of that overflow. Now it started again. That's a problem when you get down to low speeds and it keeps throwing that out. It's not, that just means that the water temperature on that 32 machine is not cooling down.
Let's go ahead and turn our attention to pit road. Rich, you've been down there multiple times. What are these drivers and teams working on possibly as of this moment?
Well, most everybody that's down pit road now is running in the back, and they're trying to make their car better. Maybe for a notebook, maybe just to try to make their car a little bit better and help their finishing position. They've had the rear end of that 23 machine of Eddie Van Meter. He's been down pit road a few times. This is like the second time they've had the back end, so working on some adjustment in the rear end of that 23 machine.
You're watching the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, whether you're in person or watching back on tape delay on Racing America and Track TV. JEGS.com is the home for every gearhead, professional racer, weekend warrior, and restoration nut who wants to take their vehicle to the next level. Millions depend on JEGS for their high-performance parts, and you should too. For more information, log on to JEGS.com or call 1-800-345-4545. Austin Hall on pit road. Oh, it's almost a 50-50. Did you expect it? Did you not expect it? I don't think I expected Austin Hull to come in, but he will forego the track position that he did have. It's not really that much of a track position, I would say. Wasn't he running around 6th or 7th?
Yeah, running in that 7th spot, decides to come down pit road. That tells me Austin Hull, a lot of time left in this race, but not happy with the handling on that race car and how it was trending for him.
Rowe, Crump, Pinsino. Sound like a broken record. Been saying that top three for quite some time now. But the field will be coming back to 2 to go and choose. Now Blake Rowe elected to choose the outside lane last time around. Does he do so again?
The last 2 restarts, he picked outside and then inside. So I don't think he liked having Kyle Crump on his outside. And so I think the biggest reason he took the outside was so Kyle Crump could not have it on the outside.
Yeah, and historically, if someone's going to make the outside lane work at a racetrack, it's probably going to be Kyle Crump. And Blake Rowe will say, I don't want that driver to make it work. Crump on the bottom, Rowe on the outside, and the rest file in 2 by 2.
And that's what he noticed on that last restart. I went to the outside, I put Kyle Crump down on the bottom, and I beat him. I was able to clear him. So you knew that Blake Rowe was going to do the same thing. He surely didn't want to put Kyle Crump back on his outside when he knows how important it is to be able to clear the corner and be able to get out, arc out by the wall down the straightaways.
We'll get the 1 to go this time by. What to do, what to do. Billy Van Meter. He is points racing. Seeing Chris Shannon struggling, at least to this point of the race, is a little bit interesting for him because we talked about Shannon now going around, having the great geyser, but just within range of the 23 machine. Let's continue on from Kalamazoo Speedway. We're back underway. Blake Rowe on the outside lane gets the launch, but can he clear to turn 3?
Chase Pinsino in the 14 says, I can go with him. I got a good race car.
Chose the outside lane last time we chose. Now drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. Rowe on the outside, Crump on the bottom. They continue to clash for the top spot. Rowe very strong downstairs as Rowe, Crump still wheel to wheel.
Blake Rowe regains that top spot. Kyle Crump will tuck in behind him. Chase Pinsino has settled down to the inside lane. Evan Shotcoat tucks in behind Pinsino. Your top 4 remain the same.
And Blake Rowe will clear Kyle Crump back to turns 3 and 4. Deeper in the field, nearly a shove, nearly a push. Billy Van Meter, the 24 of Dylan Stovall with Chris Shannon. That's 3 drivers coming together back to turns 1 and 2 as the top 4 pull away and dance again for the top spot. Inside Kyle Crump, 131. Outside Blake Rowe, 71. Rowe continues to charge off forward as Crump makes gains on the inside to the center of the corner.
Chris Shannon in 32 now back battling for that 5th spot. Decide to tuck in behind Dylan Stovall. Both of them trying to work the outside of Billy Van Meter.
Trump again. Well to the center of the corner. But Rowe just fires off so well off turn 2, so well off turn 4. These drivers fighting for the top position have allowed 3rd, 4th to come into play. 4 drivers under a bubble, maybe make it half a second.
Kyle Crump fighting back. Blake Rowe giving him the bottom.
And Rowe's able to power off the outside lane again, but look at Crump. Not allowing Rowe to clear into turns 3 and 4. Oh, what a treat it is with 40, now coming to 39 laps to go. Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, Chase Pinsino, and Evan Shotko. Shotko is a catalyst, or should we say the obsolete one in this position, because he's not actually going there and changing lanes and fighting with top 2, top 3. He's waiting to see where's the mistake and how I can capitalize, while Rowe throwing haymakers into turns 3 and 4 as Crump is there just trying to hold on.
Kyle Crump, he has all the experience here at Kalamazoo Speedway. He picked up a Kalamazoo class win in the ASA CRA Super Series in a super late model, but obviously the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, their first trip there tonight, and Kyle Crump is not letting Blake Rowe get away.
Drivers that came from the super late model scene that have raced here at Kalamazoo Speedway, they also mentioned you can't take that same playbook and apply it to a pro late model. Pro's able to clear. Yes, he is. Maybe not so, because Crump is back on the bottom, holding on to that left rear quarter panel. Pinsino's in third, Shotko's in fourth, and now that single file formation comes right back together. Give it 6, 7, 8 feet in between the first place drivers, second, third, and fourth.
Very surprising how Blake Rowe and Kyle Crump are leaving each other so much room. Maybe now, where there's 36 laps remaining, will that happen in the final 25 laps? Will that room they're giving each other start to dwindle?
And it's back to the choo-choo train. Everyone on the same rail line, inches off the outside retaining wall on the front straightaway. Drop down to the bottom side, caution, spin, and that is for the number 12 of Brent Drobny, as he comes to rest in the middle of turns 3 and 4, just when you were wondering who's going to break out of line for the top 4.
Well, that changes everything, Jonathan, as we say in this race, because we know there will be no more competition cautions. 33 laps remaining in this 125-lap Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the 5th caution of the night for this race.
So now these drivers have to readjust the playbook, right? They know there's not going to be another competition caution. There obviously could be a natural caution, but they can't count on it. So now what do they do? When do they decide to go? Is that go time now? Does it move up a little bit? I'm sure it has for some of these drivers.
Let's refresh the memory of everybody that is here in attendance or watching back at home. 5 cautions in this race. First one, competition caution after 50 consecutive green flag laps. Then the second caution was quickly displayed when the lights re-illuminated heading through the restart zone. Third caution, Chris Shannon going around off the exit of the front straightaway. Fourth one, Avery Demlin going around in turn 3. And then the 5th caution for Brent Drobny, the driver out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, going around in the middle of turns 3 and 4. We have 33 laps to go. 92 laps have been completed. And then we say, is it the mind games between Blake Rowe and Kyle Crump again? Because Rowe, let's be honest, consistently using that outside lane and starting up there has been really good for himself. Figured out that Kyle Crump can use lane 2 to his advantage. With him putting himself up there on the restart, has been able to almost, I want to say, hold back any runs that Kyle Crump could have. But Chase Pinsino, he's sitting there. He started a little bit deeper in the field, has worked his way up the 3rd. If these two in the top 2 get just a little bit too excited, right? They ride that fine line, that razor's edge, and all of a sudden one goes just a little bit too far. Chase Pinsino could very easily gather up both those positions in a hurry.
And you need to wonder following this restart, are we going to have some, use of the bumpers finally be needed on these race cars? A little tap here and there, move somebody around to where you want them. Not unheard of in the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, by the way.
Great crowd here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Want to say thank you to everyone that has come on out for this Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125 at Kalamazoo Speedway. For the ones that don't know, Kalamazoo Speedway opened in 1950, located just 10 minutes from downtown of the city of Kalamazoo, 40 minutes south of Grand Rapids, and is the high bank 3/8 mile track that you know all so well. And it has put on one heck of a show. 43 skyboxes circulate the racetrack as the seating capacity is 6,500. And what a great opportunity it has been to have JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour racing in front of this great crowd. And now we all get to watch together and ask the same question. What's next, right? Is it Blake Rowe again going to the outside? Does he go to the inside? If I'm Kyle Crump, I don't really worry about inside or outside.
I don't think it matters to Kyle Crump either way. But I know Blake Rowe is not going to give Kyle Crump the outside the rest of this race. On any restarts that may happen, he is not going to give him the outside. Kyle Crump is going to have to do all his work and make it work on the bottom, because that's the lane that Blake Rowe has decided. That's the one I'm giving you.
So Rowe on the outside, Crump on the bottom, Pinsino, Evan Shako, Billy Van Meter, Dylan Stovall. That is the top 6 as the rest of them file in 2 by 2. Lights off around the racetrack from the zoo. Let's try it again. Saturday night action. Under the lights. Green once more.
A little contact in between 1 and 2. They didn't leave 4 feet between them that time, Jonathan. Now they're really going at it. They'll bang again through turns 3 and 4.
Crump on the bottom and Fanage. Oh, I think he led that lap. Just under 93 remaining.
Oh, they make contact again. 3 corners in a row. Jonathan, the pace is picked up. I think we've seen what's going to happen.
Crump in the middle, caution will wave. Oh. What a save as Pinsino got in to the left rear of the 131, went up into Blake Rowe as the caution comes out for a car stopped in turns 1 and 2. Oh.
Well, if we had any thoughts on how the pace was going to pick up in this event with 33 laps remaining, they just showed us just how much it was going to pick up. No more room, no more friends up front. It's now a battle for $15,000.
And they are calling the 131 as the control car for Kyle Crump.
He beat him to the line, so he is now the leader. So Kyle Crump now gets the choice if he wants the outside.
Yeah, second leader in this race. And did Pinsino look excited to see if he can find his way around? I think so. A push, a shove, a shunt, and the top 3 did get together, but the yellow lights illuminated just in time before things possibly got too hot.
And I don't know that Blake Rowe wanted to give up the choice of where he wanted to start on the front. He did not want to put Kyle Crump up front where he gets to choose where he runs. I think that by the time we get to the end of this race, that's going to be a huge deal.
Two and choose this time by Kyle Crump. First dibs, inside, outside, he goes top. That's what Blake Rowe was trying to avoid the entire time. So Rowe will go to the bottom, Pinsino will go to the outside. Inside Evan Shako, followed by Billy Van Meter, allows Dylan Stovall to move up into the outside of the 3rd lane as everyone else files back in 2 by 2 by 2. Let's get ready to go again.
Now they've switched spots, our front row. Is Blake Rowe going to repay the favor for Kyle Crump and use, the old adage, 8 tires are better than 4? We'll do that here for a few laps.
I've always loved the conversation. You don't want to get Blake Rowe out in front, but you also don't want to get Kyle Crump out in front. Both of those two drivers know how to control a race, including with 32 laps to go. So let's see which one's able to do it. Kyle Crump, the control car on the outside lane, works his way back to the restart zone, and we're underway. contact into turns 1 and 2. Crump, can he clear it? No, just can't do it. It's a 71 of Rowe on the bottom.
Kyle Crump gives him a lot of room. Still Crump the leader after that lap. Crump gets a good run off of turn 2.
But Rowe is there. The break to turn 3. Both drivers on the razor edge. Crump will lead that lap, but Rowe is still not giving it on the bottom. Wheel to wheel. Kyle Crump, drive off exit, and he has the advantage. Now needs to capitalize.
And inch by inch, Kyle Crump is sneaking out just a little bit. One mistake by Blake Rowe.
No contact, no change, mere inches in between the right front of Blake Rowe and the left rear quarter panel of Kyle Crump. Pinsino watches on, Shotgo watches on, Crump at the line again. But Rowe still won't give up. He's sticking right with them lap after lap.
That extra room that Kyle Crump was giving Blake Rowe has gone away. This time he gives him a little bit more.
Oh, nearly contact. No change from the quarter panel, no change from the nose. Crump, lane 2. Can he get the launch off exit? Yes, he does.
And Kyle Crump is so close to having Blake Rowe cleared, but he just can't clear that last foot that he needs.
It's a game of inches. It's where can you make up the opportunity? Where can you not? We've seen even Blake Rowe get the left sides of his car on the apron into turns 1. Even parts of turn 3. There's contact halfway down the back straightaway. And Pinsino is licking his lips, knowing it's about to be feeding time at the zoo. Crump, top end of the racetrack. Can't clear it, and here comes Pinsino on the bottom.
Yeah, Pinsino wants to get going. We're inside 25 laps to go now.
Rowe can't hold on.
Kyle Crump has finally cleared Blake Rowe.
Pinsino loose. Heading into turn 3, Kyle Crump will continue his racing ways. Gets clear of Blake Rowe. Pinsino, Hull, Stovall, and Billy Van Meter. Single foul. Here comes Rowe back to the inside.
Blake Rowe used the bumper down there in turns 1 and 2. Got Kyle Crump a little bit loose.
And Crump is back under the same gun he was maybe 10 laps ago, but with oncoming competitors, because 3rd and 4th are right there. Late break, turn 3, here he comes. Rowe on the inside. No contact with Crump, and Crump drives off turn 4. Lap after lap, mere inches, one slip up. The difference from leading and dropping back to possibly 6 if you're Kyle Crump.
And it looks like Kyle Crump has decided, I'm going to stay up here because he doesn't think there's anything that Blake Rowe can do with him as long as he's up top.
I think Blake Rowe has other ideas. A nice wound to the right front of that 71, sideways into 1 and 2. Pinsino puts the nose underneath, but can't do much with it. Kyle Crump holds on back to turns 3 and 4.
What a save by Blake Rowe. He got dead sideways in the middle of turns 1 and 2, gathered it back up. That allowed Kyle Crump to get away just a little bit.
Yes, consistently running in that second lane, giving all the breathing room to Blake Rowe on the inside. But Crump has found the lane of his choice, but Rowe has still found a way to make something work in the way it's working. Let's read it down. Kyle Crump, Blake Rowe, Chase Pinsino, Evan Shotgo, Dylan Stovall, and Billy Van Meter. Still single file to turns 1 and 2.
Kyle Crump had Blake Rowe cleared, but he's decided no matter what, I'm staying up top.
Again, under fire. This dogfight has not seen a victor, has not seen one fully fall away. Just when you think Blake Rowe is done, he's going to log laps and say, it's not my show, at least as of this moment. He's been able to knock laps back. Now it's 12 to go as the top 2 fight again for the top position.
Your top 2 running side by side. Chase Pinsino in 14, right there, nowhere to go.
Oh, got into Rowe. But Rowe counts on to second, fights back for the race lead. And it's such a tough position if you're Blake Rowe. You have to worry about what's behind you, but you're so excited for what's ahead. 10 to go. Racing at Kalamazoo. If this is your first time watching, there's a reason why it's on the schedule. Rowe on the bottom, Pinsino. Oh, nearly drove into the back bumper, had to stand on the brakes, and this is the capitalization for the 71 he needed. Crump in lane 2, he has not stopped making the moves work out. Rowe on the bottom side of the racetrack. We're talking inches in between first to third.
And at what point does Blake Rowe run out of patience running that inside?
I think Pinsino may get there first. Underneath Rowe, gets in the back bumper. Rowe keeps it straight. Pinsino keeps it straight. Kyle Crump pulls away.
Now Blake Rowe has a bigger problem. He not only is worried about catching Kyle Crump, now he has to play defense on the 14 of Pinsino.
Yeah, this is knock. I'm ready to see if I can find victory lane in Pinsino. It's 5 laps to go in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125, and the top 3 are ready to ride. Caution on the Speedway. Incident for the championship leader and Billy Van Meter. Heavy damage to the nose of his Chevrolet. Dylan Stovall, his left front. These drivers were running up inside the top 6. Stovall not too pleased with Evan Shocko as he gives a donut on the left door of the 22.
A lot of front end damage, right front damage on the 23 of Billy Van Meter.
And to think with all that fighting, all that urgency, Kyle Crump, whether it was by an inch, a couple feet, or a couple tenths, was able to keep Blake Rowe at bay. Pinsino, the urgency really started to kick up, and now we've got a treat. 5 laps to go with 3 drivers that have the speed, the courage, and possibly the resiliency to go to victory lane.
And I can't see, but it looks like our running second in our championship points, Chris Shannon, may be on pit road. I do not see him out on the racetrack.
Continuing to watch, continuing to monitor. What's going on? Look at the damage on Billy Van Meter. Right front really caved in, and now it's rubbing on the right, I believe it is the right front wheel. Smoke coming out. So how long can that Hoosier tire stay without blistering or popping? Justin Schroeder in the 4 will be behind Billy Van Meter, at least as of this moment, until they choose. And we are hearing confirmed Dylan Stovall is out of the race for suspension damage. Will not be able to continue here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Well, we know what Kyle Crump is willing to do to go to victory lane. The textbook has been run in lane 2 and try to best Blake Rowe off corner exit. Don't make a mistake, don't slip up, don't give the advantage back to Rowe. But now, once again, with Pinsino in third, he's shown that he's going to be willing to use the bumper. And for Blake Rowe, when Rowe has to focus and worry about what's behind him and in front of him, he's having to do 2 jobs at once. It's not anymore, I'm just going to fight for the race lead. It's, I'm going to fight for the race lead, but I'm also going to make sure that I don't lose second for a driver that's very hungry to not just find a way around the position that he's currently in, but the position in front of him. So with these 3 drivers really tied up together, you wonder what the next 5 laps could bring.
And there's your answer, Jonathan. They're bringing Billy Van Meter down pit road. Smart choice. Chris Shannon no longer on the racetrack. You don't want something to happen. They're going to go ahead and see what they can pull away from this car, what's bent under there. They're going to take a look at it.
So the Van Dorn team right to work. Butch Van Dorn raced in the ASA CRA Super Series race back in 2014 here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Matter of fact, picked up a top 3 finish. And now looking to see if the car that he is working on can get back out and finish this thing. You see Dylan Stovall walking, the The gray fire suit. Very animated down in the pits. So we'll get ready to go again.
And I don't see the 32 of Chris Shannon. He must have retired that car back to the pit area. That overheating problem, you knew that wasn't a good thing when he was pushing a water that early in the event, Jonathan.
Indeed. So we're hearing the lineup is correct, and they're ready to see how this one will end. All that waiting and sitting, if you're in the grandstands, it will soon be standing and cheering as the one to go will soon be displayed, and these drivers will choose inside or outside. I love when we go JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour racing because within the final 5-10 laps, you can see what's really battle-driven and what's changed from how things go. But for Blake Rowe, Kyle Crump, this should be fun to watch.
Well, the Van Dorn team got that 23 machine of Billy Van Meter looking a lot better than when it went down pit road. Still a bunch of damage on the front end, but the tire rub not as bad as it is. We'll see when he gets up to speed. But Billy Van Meter looks a lot better than a few laps ago before he went down pit road.
2 in shoes. As debris was spotted in turn 3, the safety crew will pick that up before we get the one to go. Kyle Crump on the outside, Blake Rowe on the bottom. Chase Pinsino, Evan Shako, while the rest of the field lines in 2 by 2. This is going to be one interesting restart.
Jonathan, these need to be the hardest 5 laps that Kyle Crump has driven in a long time because he can't leave Blake Rowe down there. Because if you think for a minute that Blake Rowe is not going to use that door or that right front nose with 5 laps to go for $15,000 here at Kalamazoo Speedway, you probably got another thing coming.
We did not get lights off the top of the safety truck this time by. Awaiting the one to go signal. And confirmed. One to go this time by, so here we go. The big challenge awaits the drivers looking for victory. Blake Rowe has yet to find victory lane this year. Kyle Crump has done it 3 times. Chase Pinsino has done it once at Flat Rock Speedway. Evan Shako just won at Jennerstown last week. So what do you do if you haven't gone to victory lane this year, but you're a former champion of the series? You put it all on the line. 5 laps to go in the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125 at Kalamazoo Speedway. Crump, Blake Rowe, Rowe sideways through the middle of 1 and 2. Crump gets the launch off the outside lane and into turns 3 and 4. It's Crump and Rowe dead even, heading back to the stripe. 4 laps to go and Kyle Crump knows it's on. Rowe to the bottom, paints the yellow line. Try to get the runoff exit. Crump tries to clear, won't happen. 3 to go. Pinsino waits. Down the back straightaway. Rowe in 71. Drives it in deep to turn 3. Crump holds on. 2 remaining. How badly would you like to find victory at Kalamazoo Speedway? Caution. For debris on the front straightaway, we're going to have a restart. Oh, man. And they're hearing that the debris is right at the choose cone. So we're going to have a 2-lap dash for victory at Kalamazoo Speedway. I'm pretty excited. This is going to be something that is going to be very, very interesting. Kyle Crump, Blake Rowe, Chase Pinsino, Evan Shako, Austin Hull. You waited. The fans were on the edge of their seat. 2 laps for a finish. A green-white checkered. And for the ones that stuck around from the street stock feature to the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125, don't you go anywhere. You don't want to beat the traffic. It's not going to be worth it. 2 and choose. Here we go. Kyle Crump, Blake Rowe, these two fought for victory at Toledo, and everyone asked, what if Blake Rowe didn't get caught for jumping the start? And we watched those two fight to the very end, to the final lap. Now we should be able to see it here in West Michigan. The one to go. Mark Henry, chief starter, displays the one to go signal. And the officials giving the word that the 131 of Kyle Crump must fire first in the box. 2 laps remaining. Rowe on the outside. Correction, Rowe on the inside, Crump on the outside. Kyle Crump, the control car. Through the restart zone. Let's ride. Advantage 131, top end, Kyle Crump. Blake Rowe sticks right with them. They'll see the white flag this time by. 1 to go for Kalamazoo. Rowe on the bottom, gets to the quarter panel. What are you willing to do to win in the JEGS Tour in 2025? Deep drive for Blake Rowe, won't be enough. Kyle Crump wins the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125. Wow. Unbelievable finish. And we saw those two fight and claw for the last 50 or so laps. Kyle Crump, his 4th start this year with the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour, and it ends up being his 4th victory.
Get your transponders.
Won at Toledo, won the Big O Classic Memorial Day, the Masters of the Pros a month ago, and can add Kalamazoo Speedway to his victory tour. What an unbelievable sight it has been. Gets a thumbs up from Justin Schroeder.
Randy's Trucking.
Evan Shako, after winning $10,000 last week, sits in the 3rd position, an amazing effort. Chase Pinsino 4th, Austin Hull 5th. Race fans, get ready. He's ready to climb out of his race car after an amazing finish here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Who wants the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour to return next year? I would say
also Twisted Automotive,
everyone.
DMG, and also Techwork.
And on the front straightaway, you can see the battle-driven race cars, the ones that couldn't see victory, but did everything in their effort just to have the chance. But it seems like if you're going to win this year, you're going to have to beat Kyle Crump as he does it yet again in 2025. Blake Rowe out of the race car. Handshake. What an amazing run it was. And we'll get ready to throw it down to Rich France in victory lane. An amazing race, an amazing run. We'll soon read off the unofficial results. Pinsino out of his race car. Austin Hull out of his race car. Race fans, get ready, because he's ready to climb on out here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Kyle Crump, win number 4 in 2025. Let's throw it down to Rich France.
We'll get him out of the car. We'll get him over here to talk to us. Happy crew down here. This is starting to be a habit. We've said it before, right? You got to talk to me. I think the biggest move you had in that race was on that caution. You had him by a nose, and you were able to pick which line you wanted on those last couple restarts. And then you had to have 2 restarts, the best of your life. Talk about those.
Yeah, we got really lucky on that one start. I beat him to the line, and that's what gave me the track position on that caution. And honestly, other than that, I really don't think I was going to get him. We actually kind of missed it a little bit tonight, which is rare, but it was still really good. But hats off. That was an amazing race with Blake and Chase behind us. Made a little bit of contact one time in 125 laps, and man, we were side by side for what felt like the last half of the race, which was absolutely insane.
Kind of talk to me. We talked about this streak you're on. Does it get harder to explain the further this goes?
Yeah, I don't know, Rich. I'm happy when I see you at the track. You've been at all these, so keep coming.
Excellent job, Kyle.
Yep, thank you. And hats off again to all those guys. He could have shipped me into 3 or done me dirty, and they all ran me very clean. And, that's really what CRA is about. And we've been seeing it the last few races. It's been a lot cleaner races, and this one right here shows it can be done.
Kyle Crump, the winner of the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125.
An amazing win it was. Rich France will head over the driver that finished second, Blake Rowe. It's got to be bittersweet, right? Racing a friend and just things were going so well. Rich, down there with Blake Rowe.
Down here now with Blake Rowe. Man, what a car you had tonight. You basically controlled most of the race, except that caution that came out right after that one restart, and you did not want you just did not want Kyle to get the chance to go up top.
Yeah, when the caution flipped our running order there that lap, I knew we were going to be in a really tough spot. I mean, honestly, when we went to the top and we were able to make it really hard on Kyle, I mean, he put that in his notebook, right, and knew what it was going to take to stay in front of us. So, I mean, I hate finishing second, but that was a lot of fun. This is what I've been looking forward to coming to Kalamazoo. I knew it was going to be two-wide racing like that, and honestly, just elbows up. There was no grip tonight, which is, as a driver, what we want. So, really, really cool. Congratulations to the 131 team, and I guess finishing second to Kyle these days in a JEGS race is pretty much a win.
Any thought to put this friendship beside and finish that race any other way?
No, absolutely not. I mean, not only do I have just an immense amount of respect for Kyle, Stan and Judy as well. I mean, there's nobody else I'd rather be racing door-to-door like that. And, I mean, we've talked since Toledo, like, we've just wanted to have more of that style of racing, and we got to finish that out tonight, which is really cool, and just hope for more of that in the future.
Put on a great show tonight, Blake. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks to Kalamazoo Speedway for having us, KMR for putting the show on, all the sponsors, fans that came out. Hopefully we can make this an annual deal. That was a whole lot of fun.
Blake Rowe, your second place finisher.
And an amazing run there for Blake Rowe, but the driver in third on a heck of a streak of the last two races. That's Evan Shako, after a win in Jennerstown, finds his way to the podium position.
All right, we'll catch up with your fourth place finisher. We thought it was going to be third. What a view you had of that battle up front. And you had a good car all night. We watched you come through the field. You didn't get lucky in the redraw. But, man, could this car have been any better for you?
Not very much. We had a really, really good number 14. Felt like this place is awesome. First of all, it's just Kalamazoo is a great place to race. We definitely need to come back here. That's some of the most fun I've ever had in a race car. Team brought me an incredible race car. We were a little bit tight, but I felt like we were the best car in the field, just a little bit screwed with the redraw, just no track position to make it work.
Did a heck of a job tonight, Chase. Nice job.
Thank you.
Chase Pinsino, your fourth place finisher. And we're going to talk to your fifth place finisher, Austin Hull. Man, you came down pit road early. We talked earlier this afternoon. You said, I'm not saving tires. We're going to go from lap one. Did it work out that way? And I kind of saw the car starting to get a little bit loose. Is that why you came down pit road?
Yeah, we're just, rule package. We're heavy, so we had to just kind of drive it hard. And got a little free getting into the corners and tried to make something out of it. But just reminded me of racing the old 8-inch tire Sportsman at Berlin, and got pretty fun, pretty sporty at the end. I was kind of hoping we were going to pick a couple more off, but, don't win them all, so.
Pretty happy with that pit and then come back into the top five. You're standing on the front stretch. Feel good?
Yeah, it feels good. Want to be up in that winner circle, but we'll take this.
Austin Hull, your fifth place finisher.
And that is the top five finishers. Wow, what a race here at Kalamazoo Speedway. Rich France is going to see if he can find Evan Shako. Actually, I believe he just did.
Down here with your third place finisher, Evan Shako, man. You sat there, you were in the top five all night, sitting on the front stretch. Kind of talk about your day. The top three kind of kept getting away from you, but nobody had anything for you.
Yeah, we weren't quite as good in the race as what I had hoped. Those guys are just good, they know how to race. They're very good race car drivers, and we just didn't have quite enough tonight.
You had a nice third place run, though.
Thank you.
Evan Shako brings it home third, guys.
And that is the top 5 finishers of the Kalamazoo Metal Recyclers 125 race fans in an unbelievable event. Let's read down the top 16 finishers. It was Lane Head finishing 16th, Brent Dromdy in the 15th position. Chris Shannon, Dylan Stovall, Avery Demlin, Billy Van Meter, 11th on back, with the top 10 being Justin Thomas, Eddie Van Meter, Guy Fire, Justin Schroeder, Greg Stillwell Jr., Austin Hull, Chase Spincino, Evan Shotko, Blake Rowe were chasing in the closing laps. Kyle Crump in 131. What's next with the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour? Well, the next event is at Auto City Speedway. For the Mudslinger, you can catch it in person or on Racing America and or Track TV. Another great event in 2025. The battles just seem to not stop. Once again, the Mudslinger, that is next Saturday. If we're not mistaken, it should be September 6th for great racing. The JEGS store back in Auto City. And race fans, we'd love to have you there in person or watching live on Racing America and Track TV. This has been Racing on a Saturday evening at Kalamazoo Speedway for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. On behalf of Track Enterprises, Scott Menlin, Champion Racing Association, President of Track Enterprises, Bob Sargent. Thank you so much for coming on out, and we can't wait to find out you're watching or attending the next JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour event.
Street stock drivers, your payoff is at the window. We would like our transponders, and we would all like to go home tonight. So if you could start walking that way, we'd appreciate it. Ready for a good time.